Yo, yo, what's happening, world? B Marsh Boxing, and I'm back at it with another boxing video. What's going on with y'all, man? It's been a while since I've done one of these, man. Check out my playlist, man. Fights we didn't get to see. You know what I mean? This is fights we didn't get to see. This is where I cover fights in boxing history that we were supposed to have happen, but never happened. I'm not talking about mythical matchups, man. I'm not talking about like who would win Ray Leonard or Floyd Mayweather, or who would win Marvin Hagler or Roy Jones Jr. Now I'm talking about fights in a time period where both fighters were active and the fight just never happened for whatever reason. All right. Now I'll be having people come in my comment sections from older videos I've done of this series, and they be like, "Damn, I love this series and can't wait for the next one." Well, I'm sorry I ain't done one in a while, but here we go. Fights we didn't get to see, man. This is a fight that could have happened between 2013, 2014, 2015, 20 even 16, thereabouts, you know what I mean? Fights we didn't get to see. Adonis Superman Stevenson from Haiti versus uh, Sergey the Crusher Kovalev, the Crusher Sergey Kovalev. This is a fight between two undefeateds, a fight that could have been for undisputed or even a two-belt unification if it happened initially at the end of 2013, early 2014. Let's get into it, man. Now let's first talk about the politics on why this fight didn't happen. Now, the man Adonis Stevenson had become a WBC and lineal champion at 175 pounds when he knocked out Chad Dawson in the first round, okay? And first round knockout. Sergey Kovalev became a champion when he beat Nathan Cleverly in Wales for the WBO strap. I believe he stopped him in the fifth or sixth round. I don't know. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen it. All I know is Nathan Cleverly, the mathematician from Wales, got dropped silly all over the place by Sergey Kovalev. All right. Now HBO is trying to build both of these light heavyweights, and in the next fight, Adonis Stevenson headlined the show in Canada versus Tony Bellew, his mandatory for the WBC strap. All right, boom, and guess what? Um, Adonis Stevenson on the undercard of that fight was Sergey Kovalev defending his WBO strap versus a Ukrainian black dude by the name of Ishmael Salak. Now that fight was more of a personal thing. You know, Sergey Kovalev, through a lot of racial connotations, been racist towards the black dude Ishmael Salak, saying he's not a real Russian and all that kind of stuff. So that was basically a personal fight. Knocked him out in 2 rounds. Donna Stevenson stopped Tony Bellew in 6 rounds. Boom. This is a build-up for the fight. Now, guess what? The world wants to see this unification on HBO with the WBC, WBO straps held by these two gentlemen, Kovalev and Stevenson. And that's what we were hoping for next. You know what I mean? Now, people say that there was a verbal agreement or a handshake between Sergey Kovalev and Adonis Stevenson that they would fight each other next. But in the whole time, in between time, the man Adonis Stevenson was also being pursued by PBC and what's his name? PBC outfit led by Al Heyman. Okay, and at the time, Bernard Hopkins was also fighting over there on the at the time actually there wasn't even no PBC. It was just Showtime. You know what I mean? Um, Golden Boy and Bernard Hopkins they used to be in business with what's his name? Richard Schaefer and the man Al Heyman. You know what I mean? Richard Schaefer being the Swiss banker, and Al Heyman being the man behind the scenes, and Oscar De La Hoya being the face of Golden Boy out in the public. All right. As a matter of fact, I was there. Bernard Hopkins had himself 2 straps. All right. He first got himself a strap after he had lost to Chad Dawson. Right. He got himself a strap when he fought the man Tavares Cloud. Boom, he got himself an IBF strap. All right. And then in his next fight, I was there live for it at the DC Armory in 2014, I believe in April, when he unified uh, the WBA and the IBF strap versus Beibut Shumenov. You know what I mean? A guy from, where's Beibut Shumenov? Russia or Uzbekistan, one of them places over there. You know what I mean? He's also a smart dude too. You know what I mean? He's a lawyer by profession. That's neither here nor there. And as a matter of fact, that night, Bihab became the oldest man to ever unify straps. Okay, I was there live for that fight. So Bernard Hopkins has two straps, all right? 2 straps, WBA and IBF. Stevenson has the WBC and also the lineal status, and Kovalev has the WBO status. And that fight, as a matter of fact, was on Showtime between Beibut Chuminov and Hopkins. Okay, all right, boom. Then the man, now the man Adonis Stevenson, like I said, is also being pursued by Showtime. And guess what? This is the boxing business, y'all. Let's put your thinking caps on, all right? This is the ultimate risk for reward sport. There's no other sport in the world where the ultimate risk and reward, because you ain't just playing basketball, shooting hoops, or hitting a baseball, or throwing or catching a football. Nah, you getting punched in the face and in the rib cage and in the sternum and all that, and in the liver, you know what I mean? So put your thinking caps on. If you're in Adonis Stevenson's position, would you just negotiate with Sergey Kovalev, or would you also be gunning for the older guy who has two straps and who's also a living legend in Bernard Hopkins, who's a living legend in the game? What's a better scalp on your resume? Sergey Kovalev at the time or Bernard Hopkins? So of course the man is a businessman and he's in position to negotiate with both. And he got lured in for a bigger payday to fight the man Bernard Hopkins on Showtime. But at the same time, Bernard Hopkins and Golden Boy, they also were cut out the pie by Richard Schaefer and Al Heyman. You know what I mean? They no longer wanted to do business with the man De La Hoya. De La Hoya had a lot of transgressions at them times, you know what I mean? With his, look, I don't got to get into that. That's for y'all to go do your research and see why Richard Schaefer and the crew, they cut ties with the man, De La Hoya. You know what I mean? It was a business move they had to make, and De La Hoya and them, they got with HBO. Boom. De La Hoya, Golden Boy, Bernard Hopkins are over there on HBO with Kovalev. Now Adonis Stevenson is left out in the cold. He thought he's going to get a big fight versus Bernard Hopkins on Showtime, but they've left. They've gone to HBO. Now, 3 of the 4 straps are on HBO. Kovalev has a WBO, B-Hop has WBA and IBF. They make the unification fight happen in November of 2014. Okay, it was in Atlantic City. B-Hop gets dropped in the first round, and everything after that from round 1 through 12 was a wash. A thorough beating from the man, Kovalev beating up the old man Hopkins. Boom, just like that. Kovalev has 3 straps in one night. You know what I mean? The man, Bernard Hopkins, Adonis Stevenson, who was the 2013 Fighter of the Year, basically the MVP of boxing for 2013, he goes over there to Showtime in 2014, and he's not fighting the same caliber of fighters. You know what I mean? His stock basically drops as far as the type of guys he's fighting. You know what I mean? Sergey Kovalev now has 3 straps. Everybody looking at him like he's the best light heavyweight, but he needs 1 strap to unify, okay? And Bernard Hopkins, what's his name? Sergey Kovalev, they're not really interested in fighting the man Adonis Stevenson. The fight's not going to be hard to make. Kathy Duva didn't want to do no business with Al Heyman and them. And that's what it is, okay? Now, that was in 2014. Like I said, the man B-Hop is fighting fellas like Tommy Karpency and Solosky or whatever his name is. And Kovalev ain't fighting no better fighters either. He's fighting the likes of Blake Camparillo, who got dropped. And also he dropped Kovalev, but they ain't counted. And fighting fellas like Segnik Agnew, a guy who dropped Kovalev in that fight, but they didn't count it. Why they weren't counting these knockdowns of Kovalev being dropped, I have no clue. But at the end of the day, the boxing world still wants to see Kovalev versus Adonis Stevenson. Okay? In 2015, the WBC puts pressure on Sergey Kovalev in main events, and they force him into a purse bid. You know what I mean? They force him into a purse bid where they make the man, what's his name, Sergey Kovalev, the mandatory for the WBC strap. A rare move done by the sanctioning bodies, considering that that they both champions. But this is how bad the boxing world and the sanctioning bodies wanted to see this fight. But guess what? In the 48th hour, Team Main Events and Sergey Kovalev, they pull out of the fight. They pull out of the fight versus the man, Adonis Stevenson, and they don't want to fight the man. They don't want to even go ahead with the purse bid. And the reason was a blatant duck and a blatant excuse, okay? Kathy Duva basically said, oh, we're contractually obligated to fight on HBO and nowhere else, okay? And if HBO is smart, which I know they are, and really and truly, they probably even advised the man, Kathy Duva and them to go ahead with the fight. Even if they lose the purse bid, they still gonna get the biggest payday of their career. You know what I mean? Because Al Heyman and them would have to put up a lot of money for the fight. Kovalev would have gotten the fattest payday of his career, and so would Stevenson. And guess what? Kathy Duva would have made them. That's the business. You're the promoter. You're supposed to be making the most money also for yourself and the fighter. Kathy Duva would have got more money than she ever did promoting the man Sergey Kovalev, you know what I mean? Because Sergey Kovalev was by no means anywhere on the planet Earth a cash cow, you know what I mean? You check it, he wasn't making the fattest paydays, definitely wasn't making the kind of money Adonis Stevenson was making over there on PBC Showtime, all right? And if the PBC Showtime, Al Heyman and them won the purse bid, that fight would have been on, just remember, PBC at them times was fighting on terrestrial TV, whether it's CBS, which is a terrestrial channel, and or what's his name, NBC. You know what I mean? You check it. That would have mean more eyeballs on the man Kovalev than he would have ever gotten on HBO. Okay, and guess what? If they were confident that they man Kovalev beats the man Stevenson, he would come back to HBO. This is just a one-off fight. Come back to HBO with all the straps as an undisputed and even a bigger star than he could ever dream of. But I guess they weren't confident that he could do that. That's why they pulled out the purse bid. Now, this is up to y'all. It's up to you. The truth of the matter is we lost as boxing fans. You know what I mean? Whether you say Stevenson's the one who ducked the fight by trying to pursue Bernard Hopkins in 2014, or whether it's 2015 when Sergey Kovalev in Main Events pulled out of the purse bid. And let me just rewind this history lesson I'm giving y'all too. You also got to remember, Adonis Stevenson was a man who was ducked at 168 pounds by Mikhail Kessler, ducked by Lucien Bute, ducked by Carl Froch. You know, Adonis Stevenson was the IBF mandatory for Carl Froch's IBF strap. And there was a lot of pressure. You remember that kind of pressure that Errol Spence was putting on Kell Brook for his IBF strap? And we thought that the man, Kell Brook, will vacate the strap, but he went along with the fight. God give it up to him, you know what I mean? Especially coming off a loss. That's the kind of pressure Adonis Stevenson was putting on Carl Froch. Carl Froch was just seconds away from vacating that straps because he wanted no part of this hard-hitting Haitian Canadian. You know what I mean? But lucky for Carl Froch, Adonis Stevenson was given a shot at the 175-pound strap and the lineal title, WBC and all that, by Chad Dawson. And he went ahead and took it, you know what I mean? And that let the man breathe, let Carl Froch live, you know what I mean? And he still kept his IBF strap, you know what I mean? You check it, and he no longer had that pressure of having to fight the man, Adonis Stevenson. Andre Ward as well had been ducking the man, Adonis Stevenson, from 168 pounds and also at 175 pounds. Andre Ward retired with 3 straps when he was just one fight away on fighting the man, Adonis Stevenson, in a fight that was proposed, a 2-fight deal. One fight at 168 pounds in Canada, and also a fight, a rematch clause at 175 pounds. Or maybe it was vice versa, 168, 175, either way. But the second fight was going to be in Oakland, California, in Andre Ward's home turf. Him and Virgil Hunter, they ain't want that smoke. They ain't want to take that fight, and Andre Ward retired with 3 belts. I was very disappointed with the way Andre Ward retired, but that's neither here nor there, okay? We still talking about the politics. So we lost as boxing fans, whether you blame Adonis Stevenson or you blame the man, Sergey Kovalev, you know what I mean? All right, let's get into it. The styles make fights, you know what I mean? Sergey Kovalev is about 6 feet with a 70-inch reach, long reach, and the man Adonis Stevenson, he's about 5'11" with a 72-inch reach. You know, the man Adonis Stevenson is a very good outside fighter, you know what I mean? And one of the hardest hitting boxers of his time, of his era. Even Teddy Atlas used to say, you know, the biggest punches in the boxing game right now is Adonis Stevenson and Deontay Wilder. That's just what he said. Don't shoot the messenger. That's what he used to say. I mean, and that's just the truth about it. Adonis Stevenson used to separate fellas from their senses with that left hand. You know what I mean? It was a beautiful left cross he had. Sergey Kovalev, on the other hand, had a beautiful jab, very good boxer, definitely upright European style. The way the man used to fight, you know what I mean? You know, but his right hand behind the jab was a thing of beauty. You know what I mean? Basically, like Stevenson's left hand behind the jab, his right jab was a thing of beauty. You know what I mean? Both guys are not superb inside boxers. I'll never give them that. But the man Adonis Stevenson, with his long Dal Sim type of reach, he also has some nice body shots. You know what I mean? Definitely a better body puncher than the man Adonis Sergey Kovalev. Neither guy um, neither guy depended so much on the body shot game, you know what I mean? Because they both were good fighters from distance, you know what I mean? Dictating the range and the pace. But Adonis Stevenson also had better footwork than the man Sergey Kovalev. You know what I mean? Sergey Kovalev was more an upright fighter, you know what I mean? Not as an athlete as much like Adonis Stevenson. You know what I mean? Adonis Stevenson was a very good athlete. You check it. And this fight was a fight that could have gone either way. You know, I think that the man Sergey Kovalev, with his jab, you know, he was a very good boxer, but sometimes he would get undisciplined and be trying to look for the knockout rather than letting the knockout come. And that was his problem to me. You know what I mean? Those are the kind of issues he had that would get him in trouble. You know what I'm saying? You know, and that's to me, and where he would exert a whole lot of energy looking for the knockout, and then he starts to gas out in the later rounds. Now, Adonis Stevenson didn't have the greatest gas tank either. You know what I mean? Definitely not. But Adonis Stevenson showed, even with his gas tank, because usually used to knock out his opponents early. He wasn't going past 4 or 5 rounds often, you know what I mean? Even when he went 6 rounds with the man Tavares Cloud, you know, that was he was going a little longer than he usually does. You know, but he showed he could knock out opponents later, even with his bad gas tank, even coming off the canvas, where there was like a fight versus guys like Fonfora, you know what I mean? Now, Adonis Stevenson, I think his footwork was better. The jab, I give the edge to man Kovalev, but how to set up shots for a devastating knockout and separate you from your senses, I gotta give it up to the man Adonis Stevenson's left cross, you know what I mean? Now, like I said, neither guy was the type of guy who would put your head on your chest and bang out on the inside. That wasn't their style. They both like to fight from distance. But I think the more disciplined fighter was Adonis Stevenson, you know what I mean? Whether he got put on the canvas by guys like Fonfora, and like I said, I ain't mentioned this. These guys both had a common opponent, and that was Darnell Boone. As a matter of fact, Andre Ward was a guy who fought Darnell Boone. Darnell Boone put Andre Ward on the canvas. Darnell Boone fought the man Sergey Kovalev, and he put him on the canvas numerous times. And the man Darnell Boone knocked out Adonis Stevenson for Adonis Stevenson's first loss. But unlike all these guys, Adonis Stevenson was the only guy who rematched, who fought the man Darnell Boone again, and he stopped him in 6 rounds. You know what I mean? So, that was the common opponent that all these three fighters had. You know what I mean? Darnell Boone, a journeyman, but who was a big, heavy hitter. You know what I mean? Them type of fellas, you fight him on a street fight, you probably might have to favor Darnell Boone versus all those guys I mentioned. You know what I mean? You check it. So, at the end of the day, Adonis Stevenson was the more dangerous fighter. You know what I mean? Bernard Hopkins didn't jump out there just to fight the man Sergey Kovalev, because he thought that the man Sergey Kovalev was sweet. He ain't go ahead and fight the man Adonis Stevenson. Andre Ward, he ain't never even come close to fighting the man. What's his name? Adonis Stevenson. He ducked that smoke too, you know what I mean? As a matter of fact, he retired before he even thought about fighting the man, Adonis Stevenson. Carl Froch, Mikhail Kessler, all these guys, you know what I mean? But guess what? Andre Ward and B-Hop wasn't afraid to get into the ring with the man Sergey Kovalev, you know what I mean? Because they knew something that anybody who's watching boxing and not through a biased lens can see, you know what I mean? I think Adonis Stevenson's power was more devastating than the man, the Crusher. Was the Crusher the better boxer? He was a better upright boxer, but footwork and movement and lateral movement and also the body punches from range, I got to give it up more to the man, Adonis Stevenson, you know what I mean? And I think this fight could have gone either way. Definitely it's not going the distance. And I think Adonis Stevenson will get the man Kovalev up out of there between the ninth and the 10th round, you know what I mean? Maybe the ninth and the 11th, you know what I mean? It would be a very good back and forth pace. I think going into the ninth round, the scores will be tied 4 rounds apiece, you know what I mean? But I think Kovalev would get a little undisciplined and start trying to look for the knockout and open himself up to a lot of counter punches and the straight left hand from Adonis Stevenson, whether it's to the sternum, left hook or right hooks to the body. And eventually, I think a left hand would separate him from his senses, you know what I mean? Just like the way Alidia Alvarez did it. Numerous guys who've knocked out the man. Sergey Kovalev. Look, Sergey Kovalev, when he fought versus Canoli, I had Kovalev winning that fight up until he got knocked out. But he did sure enough fight like a pussy, man, just using the jab. And he wasn't blasting that right hand and being the crusher that we wanted to see. You know what I mean? And he's the one who fought like the smaller guy, while Canoli was the one who came up a weight class or two. You know what I mean? I believe he came up 2 weight classes. You check it? So I think Adonis Stevenson's, neither guy I say got the greatest chin, but I definitely know that the man Adonis Stevenson chin is a little tougher than the man Kovalev's, you know what I mean? Kovalev was a bully, and that's what he was. He was a bully who didn't like to get bullied. And when he got bullied, the man would roll into a shell, you know what I mean? And he wouldn't be the same type of fighter. Now he faced a little adversity versus Anthony Yard when he almost got stopped in the 8th round, you know what I mean, to come back and win that fight. You know, but Anthony Yard wasn't an experienced world-class fighter like these guys we're talking about, Andre Wards and Adonis Stevensons and the like, you know what I mean? So I got to give it up to the man Adonis Stevenson, 9th to 11th round stoppage in a very close fight that could go either way up until the time. But Kovalev, I think he's not going to be disciplined enough to stay and box behind the jab, and he's going to try to let his hands go and the combinations. He's going to let the combinations go, and he's going to get caught in between by a nice left-hand counter punch or a left cross that's going to separate him from his senses, and he's not going to get up, Jim. He's not getting up. B Marsh Boxing, leave your thoughts and comments. Let me know how you guys see this fight happening, and let me know who you guys think would win this fight between Adonis Stevenson and Sergey Kovalev. Damn shame we never got this fight. Now the fans could be, like I said, could blame each other, could blame Kovalev or Adonis Stevenson, but we as a whole, as boxing fans, lost because we never got to see this fight. All right, B Marsh Boxing, I'll catch you guys on the next one. If you're new to the channel, please share and subscribe, and please check out my playlist, Fights We Didn't Get to See. I'm gone. One.